Hi, I'm Hiroshi, a middle-aged Japanese guy, a big fan of philosophy, especially Presocratics. In this video, I'm going to discuss Democritus's place in the history of philosophy. In my opinion, considering his discussions of atoms and necessity, Democritus comes across more as a scientist than as a philosopher. Let's explore this in detail through the concept of the mover, as seen in the theories of Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, Empedocles, Anaxagoras, and Democritus. The mover is what moves or controls everything in the universe. It exerts influence, but remains unaffected by anything else. Aristotle terms this being the unmoved mover, something that moves without being moved. Thales and Anaximenes seem to view the mover as matter. Thales posits that water is the fundamental substance of everything, while Anaximenes identifies air as the primary element. Both imply that a fundamental substance not only composes, but also governs everything in nature. What about Anaximander's theory, in which the boundless controls and generates everything in the universe? Doesn't the term boundless sound immaterial? I don't believe it is. What Anaximander calls the boundless can also be understood as matter. To explain, let's compare creation by the boundless with creation by God. In Christianity and Judaism, God creates from nothing, creatio ex nihilo. In ancient Greek philosophy, however, everything originates from something, not nothing. Greek philosophers generally reject the principle of creation from nothing, which is why Anaximander's boundless should be seen as something material. For him, the boundless is the mover. Thus, the mover, in this view, is matter. Empedocles and Anaxagoras, however, do not accept this idea of a material mover. Empedocles suggests that the four roots, water, earth, air, and fire, are united by love and divided by strife. In other words, love and strife are the movers. There are two movers in the world, and they are not material, like water or air, but rather metaphysical entities. For Anaxagoras, or Mr. Mind, it is nous that initiates and continues the movement of everything in the universe. Nous is the mover. Since nous is a non-corporeal entity that permeates and governs the universe, it can be considered metaphysical. Both Empedocles and Anaxagoras propose that a metaphysical entity, or entities, exist within nature. They suggest that everything in the universe, whether living or not, is moved, governed, and controlled by something beyond sensory perception. Following this line of thought, we can say that the Milesians shared a common idea, that the mover is matter. However, philosophers who came after Heraclitus, like Empedocles and Anaxagoras, hold the view that the mover is immaterial, such as love and strife or nous. In this shift, the concept of the mover takes on a metaphysical rather than a scientific dimension. Their notion of the mover aligns with the idea of substance. Substance is a metaphysical concept, indicating that there exists a fundamental entity in nature that influences other things but remains unaffected by them. Democritus is different. In advocating that atomic theory, he seems to have proposed that similar atoms tend to group together throughout the universe, like to like. This implies a mutual attraction among atoms everywhere in nature. Nothing influences others without being influenced in return. Thus, the traditional metaphysical concept of substance is entirely dismantled. Democritus's view reminds me of Newton's law of universal gravitation. According to this law, particles in the universe mutually attract one another, suggesting that the idea of substance, which influences and is not influenced, does not exist. As I understand it, Democritus referred to atoms' mutual attraction as necessity, much like Newton described particles' mutual attraction as the law of universal gravitation. In this sense, Democritus's perspective closely aligns with Newton's. This is why I believe Democritus is more of a scientist than a philosopher.